Good afternoon. As a courtesy to your fellow media members, the coaches, and student athletes, please silence your cell phones. Also a reminder, recording press conference video on cell phones is prohibited. We'll have 2 mic runners. Please wait for the microphone to reach you before asking a question. And when the microphone does reach you, please provide your name and media affiliation each time you ask a question during the press conferences. If you are joining us on Zoom, please use the raise hand function for questions. We'll address questions in the room first, and then take questions from Zoom if time permits. Now joining us, members of the Murray State Racers, head coach Dan Skirka, and student athletes Jonathan Hogart and Dustin Mercer. We'll begin with a opening statement from Coach Skirka, and then open it up to questions from the student athletes.
First of all, wow. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, just so happy these guys get to experience this and play on this stage and show the whole country that they belong. Obviously, we didn't come out victorious, but I couldn't be more proud of the fight that they showed. They jumped on us early, and we weren't able to get that knock. But I was never a doubt that these guys were going to keep fighting, scrapping, clawing, and giving us a chance in the end, and that's exactly what they did. They've done it all year. So the support, outstanding. I mean, Racer Nation, holy cow. So many blue and gold out there. That was awesome. And then the people of Omaha, I think, got on their feet a few times for the Racers, so that's really neat to see. Kudos to UCLA. I mean, that's as good of a defensive team and display that I've seen. I mean, the play in the first, up the middle, the double play that they turned in the second, the sliding catch and left, the catch at the wall and right. They just made that look easy on the defensive side, and obviously they were able to get a couple knocks there with 2 outs. But, Nick Shuddy, the pitcher, Shuddy just competed. We knew he would. Been riding him all year. Guy's on fumes. I know he's not going to admit it, but, I mean, look at the workload that guy's done, especially the last few weeks, and just love that dude and proud of what he did. And then Zenko and Oakley coming in and giving us a chance. So a lot of really good things to take away. I know these guys are going to rest up and then be ready to go on Monday.
We'll open it up to questions from the student athletes.
Noah Bieniek, 11.7. This question's for Dusty. You guys faced today a pitcher in the Big Ten who had an incredible regular season, and not once this season had he walked 4 batters. You walked twice today. Just seemed like you had a couple of atom balls. Can you talk about what was working for him and the approach at the plate that you had today, and as well as your teammates?
You can definitely tell there's a little something different to his fastball. It's a good pitch, had a little sink to it, down and up it rode a little bit, and that's tough to be on. You don't know what it's going to do. Change-up kind of looked like a screwball every once in a while, and that's never ideal as a hitter. I was picking it up a little bit out of the hand. He was mixing 3 pitches, and whenever a guy can mix 3 pitches for strikes, it's going to be tough. So we just tried to compete, and foul off a couple tough pitches, and then one gets away from him and get a runner on base. That's how we win usually. So.
Adam Wells, WPSD. Jonathan, did you feel like it took you guys a little bit to kind of settle into this game, considering the atmosphere, or did you feel like you guys were kind of ready from the start?
I thought we handled the atmosphere really well. We worked counts really well early. Couple breaks didn't go our way. Chased a couple. I mean, the guy's good. The guy's really good. He's starting the game on for them in Omaha for a reason. So hats off to him. He's really good. Made some really good pitches. But no, I thought we competed really well. I thought we put a lot of pressure on. Just a couple breaks didn't go our way. And they made some phenomenal plays, like Skirk said. Again, those plays were phenomenal and then killed momentum. So I think they played a good ball, but I think we handled the atmosphere as good as we possibly could.
Mike Vito, College Baseball Central. Dustin, you keep smiling. I know obviously the result's not what you wanted, but just kind of talk about, the attitude kind of going into obviously Monday, but just the opportunity to be playing here.
I mean, obviously it's baseball heaven here. I was talking about it yesterday. Like, I walked around. I've never felt famous before until I got here. Those kids don't care whether I'm going to the big leagues or I'm done playing in 2 weeks. They just wanted to talk to me, and I think that's a really awesome experience. So I know we lost, and that stings. It really does. But keeping that kind of mental attitude of those kids are here to watch us, and that's super cool. Skirk's son, he just loves watching us play ball, and they look up to us. And yeah, about the smiling, I'm done playing baseball in 2 weeks no matter what. So I'm just trying to keep that on my face and enjoy the ride.
Zach Simmons, Murray State News. Guys, I don't think really anybody here probably expected UCLA to beat you guys with only 6 runs. So do you guys have a little bit of confidence going into Monday, knowing that you held a pretty good offense to only 6 runs?
Absolutely. I mean, hats off to our pitchers. They grinded like crazy. Shuddy, I thought he threw really well. He made some pitches when he had to, and just a couple breaks didn't go his way as well. Then Zinko's lights out, and then Oakwood did exactly what he was supposed to do. So, yeah, I'm really confident in that. Again, I think our offense was just one swing away in a couple innings and to really take the lead or even blow it open. So I'm really happy with where we're at. It wasn't our night tonight, God's plan. So we'll just look forward to the Monday and enjoy our day tomorrow.
Joe Healy, D1 Baseball. Dustin, what kind of challenge does it provide as a hitter when UCLA uses their pitching the way they do, where they just throw the kitchen sink at you and it's just a different guy every time you come up to the plate?
Yeah, that always raises a challenge, and I think they did it purposefully. I mean, I don't know exactly, but I'm sure our numbers are good. Second time through the order off a guy, third time off. But it's different when you're standing in the box with 20,000 people sitting in the stands. So, yeah, I mean, they did a really good job mixing. I mean, that's always tough. I don't care whether it's big leagues or high school. If a guy can execute 3 pitches, he's gonna be pretty good. So.
That's all the time we have for questions for the student athletes. Jonathan, Dustin, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
We'll now open it up to questions for Coach.
Mark Garland, College Baseball Central. Coach, can you talk a little bit about your bullpen and how they really kept you guys in that baseball game tonight? Does that give you a little bit of confidence going into Monday, knowing you got guys that can come out and just shut another team down for you?
100%. You know, especially now you get an off day. I'm sure both those guys will be back, so we'll have a full stable ready to go on Monday. Confident Silva's going to give us a quality start, and like they kept saying, we just got to get this offense going, and we were right there. You could feel it. So a lot of confidence going into Monday.
Coach Harrison Fan, SEC Unfiltered. You talk a lot about just the resilience of this team and just the culture and never being out of the fight. We've seen the offensive explosion throughout the season, the postseason. What does it mean to kind of go fight against a pitcher and a team like UCLA that has guys that have thrown 12 guys that have 17 plus innings pitch and the elite arms they can bring out one after another, and the confidence you have in this lineup, no matter what the score is, if it's down 5, down 1 in the 9th, whatever it is, to belief you have in them to fight and come back and honestly give them their best and give you their best because they trust the process.
Yeah, and that's from the body of work that these guys have put in. I know that's kind of UCLA's plan to, they threw 6 guys at us today. We've seen that a lot this year with this offense, so it's nothing new. To try to match up righty lefty, keep mixing looks, try to find the right guy that's going to get hot and put up some zeros against us. So that doesn't throw our guys off a whole lot, I don't think. But just when you have done it all year, they are confident, and I think that dugout knows that, And again, we were right there. I mean, Decker was so close, 2+ plays in the outfield from having multiple RBIs, and it's a different ball game. And then we probably got a chance to go to Kellum, and that gives these guys even more confidence. And then, the outcome might be different. So that's baseball. That's what I told the guys after the game. Just a game of inches. A couple of their hits did find holes, and the pitch that Shuddy made and Call kind of flared it into right field that started their 4-run rally. That's baseball, and we had guys on and hit it on the barrel, and they made the plays. So they're going to be confident. They're going to rest up, and I know emotionally I think they're a little bit drained from the last couple of days and dealing with everything that they've dealt. So really excited to see them come back out on Monday with not more energy, but just the same thing we've always done. I told you guys, backs against the wall, that's when these guys play best, when everybody doubts them and they're out, and then they come back throwing haymakers.
John Wright, Murray Ledger and Times. I thought a key moment was when y'all finally got their leadoff hitter out after he'd been on base the first 3 times, I think. Yeah. When you have a guy who's getting on base against you and you finally get him out, that's a momentum builder for you, right?
Correct. Early on, I think they had the leadoff hitter on the first 2 innings, and they scored. I don't think we had the leadoff hitter on until the 7th, and then we finally scored in the 7th and the 8th. So that's baseball, and that's part of our plan. We got to get their leadoff guy out, and we were always fighting like crazy to get our leadoff hitter on. That's just a good sound process as an offense and a defense. So they did it early. We did it a little bit late, and it wasn't enough today.
Evan Bland, Omaha World Herald. Coach, could you speak to that play in the 4th inning when UCLA bunted with Chalowski, runners at the corners? How surprising maybe that was, or how that turned the game?
Yeah, I know that's one of the weapons they like to use. I asked my assistant who kind of scouts their bunt game. I said, will they safety squeeze with this guy? I know he's a stud. And he goes, no, I don't think they will with this guy. And sure enough, first pitch they did. So Shuddy, that's baseball, right? And in that moment, they're trying to manufacture and keep adding on to their lead. But I was surprised by that. Kudos to Shuddy and Mistoni at first base that they handled that and didn't freak out and minimize that inning. Because if they fumble that bunt, now all of a sudden you got runners on and we didn't get it out, and that could have got even more ugly.
We'll have time for one more question.
Adam Wells, WPSD. Coach, you kind of touched on it in your opening statement. When you all left the hotel today and the turnout from Murray State, I know you guys weren't there, also at the pep rally they had at one of the bars here, a huge turnout and then stands. Did you ever imagine that you would see this much support for this baseball program?
Never. I mean, it's people in town support them, and they know our guys. They see them at church. They see them out to eat. They see them at basketball games. And some people stop by our games, but, we don't even charge admission at our games, And for now, these people to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to just drive all the way here, get hotels, get tickets, buying all the gear. They got all the funny T-shirts going on. That kind of cracked me up this morning. And just to see some of the faces, some guys drove in from Florida and from Michigan and just all over, and to see them and to support these guys, it just speaks, how inspirational that this game can be, and fighting for not just, an underdog or a Cinderella, but for a great group of guys that have shown toughness and the process. Again, we're going to go back to it, but they love each other, and I think people see that and they want to be a part of it. Very neat.
That'll conclude our press conference. Coach, we appreciate your time.
Thanks, guys.
Hammond Communications will post a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Thank you for joining us. Just a couple reminders before we get going. As a courtesy to your fellow media members, the coaches, and student athletes, please silence your cell phones. Also a reminder, recording press conference video on cell phones is prohibited. We'll have 2 mic runners. Please wait for the microphone to reach you before asking a question. Please provide your name and media affiliation each time you ask a question during the press conference. If you are joining on Zoom, please use the raise hand function for questions. We will address questions in the room first and take questions from Zoom if time permits. Now joining us, members of the UCLA Bruins, head coach John Savage, student athletes Roman Martin, AJ Salgado, and Dean West. Gentlemen, congratulations on your victory. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach.
Well, it was a good, hard-fought win. Murray State is very, very competitive. We knew when we put up a 4 in the fourth that, they probably wouldn't blink an eye, and they didn't. They kept battling back. It wasn't an easy victory. We pitched out some problems today. We got ourselves into some problems. The bullpen did. I thought Barnett was solid. Gave us what he had. Kind of cramped up there at the end, and probably left him in there for one hitter too long. Probably should have taken him out. He wanted to stay in there. It was the fifth inning, 6-1, 2 outs. You think you could try to squeeze another out, but at the end of the day, it was a good team win, and it was the first game of a hopefully a long tournament. So hard fought win. Very hot out there today. I think our guys dealt with that a little bit. I thought the outfield communication was really, really good. A little breezy, a lot of noise. I thought we handled all that pretty well. I know that's kind of a coach talk a little bit, but at the end of the day, it was a good win for us, and certainly we can learn from it.
We'll open it up to questions for the student athletes.
Mark Garland, College Baseball Central. Dean and Roman, can you guys talk a little bit about the defense today? I mean, that really shut this team down. I mean, Murray State's been able to take advantage of people making mistakes defensively and misplaying some balls. You guys were really solid defensively today.
Yeah, I just say we take a lot of pride in our defense. That's something that we know is never going to go away, going game to game. And yeah, we knew it was going to be tough, and defense is really a separator, especially in these big games. So yeah, just sticking to what we've been doing.
Yeah, I agree with Roman. Coach always talks about good championship teams has good defense, and that's something we really take a lot of pride in.
Hi, I had a question for Dean. I was just wondering, just kind of off the bat, it seemed, Meek McCaffrey, Daily Bruin, but it seems like you were seeing the ball really well and being really patient at the plate, going 2 for 4 with a walk, especially early on. How are you able to maintain your composure so immediately, especially on, one of the biggest stages in college baseball?
I think it's just a lot of trust in myself, and then the approach that our coach gives us in the beginning of the game, and kind of just sticking to it and just believing in it.
Any more questions for the student athletes?
Brady Altman's LA Times. AJ, this one's for you, since you haven't had a chance to talk yet. You guys kind of hopped on him, got a really good beat in there early, but then it seemed like the last couple times around in the batting order just couldn't find the same success at the plate. What was different in those plate approaches and that their pitchers were doing to kind of keep you off guard in the last couple innings?
Honestly think that our hitters did a pretty decent job the rest of the game. I think we hit a lot of balls hard. With the wind, I think it kind of killed a few, and we just hit the ball right at people, I think.
Joe Healy, D1 Baseball. Roman, what kind of challenge is it when you have a pitcher like Shuddy, their starter, where you know that he's gonna pitch deep in the game regardless, you're not gonna knock him out? Is that more of a challenge just because you know you're just gonna have to hit him at some point and you're not gonna just get him out of the game?
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely a challenge, especially at these levels. Those pitchers have a lot of success, and we know that. I think really just sticking to our plan and trying to outlast guys, keeping it pitch to pitch. That's always huge when you're facing a guy like that. But yeah, I'd say just outlasting him, having 1 through 9, giving him a tough at bat is really the only way.
John Wright, Murray Ledger Times. This is for Dean. Your catch in the inning, or that catch on the dive, was one of the biggest plays in this ball game. Tell me how it developed.
What was the situation? Was it runners on first and second, 2 outs? I think that's what it was. And then I knew because of the pitch comp, he was going to throw a changeup, and that was probably going to be like the only opportunity I would ever get to catch the ball. So I made sure I went out and go get it.
Any more questions for the student athletes? Okay, Roman, AJ, Dean, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
We'll open it up to questions for Coach.
Coach, it felt like you said it was a big team effort, but it also felt like your number 9 hitter in all phases of the game was electric tonight. Phoenix call, the 2 plays early on defensively, the sack bunt, going first to third right in the face of the left fielder in the 4th inning, sparking things, before that. Can you just talk a little bit about Phoenix's impact overall and how he's such a spark plug for the whole team today?
Yeah, Phoenix is a phenomenal athlete. He's a high school shortstop. He can play center field with anybody probably in the tournament. He's a phenomenal athlete. So you can see him move. We've seen him move as the season goes along here. He's getting more confident. He's getting more familiar with the position. He's never played second in his life. He played short his whole career, young career, in center field because he can really move and run. He's not your typical second baseman, I guess, in some ways, but he's a dynamic player, and we have him in the 9-hole, and he's almost like a leadoff guy, in many ways. And he can swing the bat. He had a really good Cape Cod last summer. He really grew up last year at YD, and that's really carried over into this season. And all his errors, most of his errors really were early in the year, and then he's been phenomenal really from about early April on. But he can run, he can bunt, he sprays the ball all over the ballpark. He does have a little power at times, so he's coming into his own. He's still a very young player, but he's a elite player.
Noah Bieniek, 11.7. Coach, you mentioned in your opening statement, you phrased it as you pitched out of plenty of problems today. Barnett, 4 walks and 4.1 was the most this season, but I was very impressed in the pitching staff in general being able to pitch out of so many jams today. Yeah. And then you look at the Super Regional as well. The final 16 innings of that series, 0 runs. Can you just talk about the strength of this pitching staff lately?
Well, we finally got to know ourselves probably about middle of April. And, we're not going to blow anybody away, clearly. You can tell that. Hawk can do that a little bit. A couple of relievers can do that. But we got to pitch. And it was a little unusual for Mike to walk 4 guys. That's very unusual for Mike. I think the first 5 hitters were 3-2 counts. It was like, oh, boy, 28 pitches in the first inning. And, it isn't quite like Mike. But, they all have a little niche. They all know what they can do. I have a good feel for him in terms of pitch calling. It's a blend. It's a change. It's a breaking ball. It's a slider. It's a cutter. It's a fastball. It's just not one go-to pitch. And a lot of these guys are, somewhat starters that are relievers, and some guys are 3 and 4 pitch guys. And even if it's 1 inning, some guys are throwing 4 pitches, which is a little unusual nowadays. Usually you see 2 pitches, right, out of a reliever. And so we do have some guys that really have starter profiles, but not big stuff. That's why, we can get into trouble a little bit because they can get hit. And that's, O'Connor got in trouble. Moss got in trouble. Souza got in trouble. Really the only one that didn't get in trouble was Hawk. So it's baseball. It's Omaha. You expect trouble. If you're not expecting trouble, you'll be out of here pretty quick. So you better be able to pitch with traffic and pitch out of problems. That's the nature of championship baseball.
Joe Healy, D1 Baseball. Coach, historically in your time at UCLA, you've really liked to have roles on the pitching staff. This one's been a little bit different for you. Is that, would you say, more based on the personnel or more based on an evolution for you and the way you think about it?
Yeah, we have roles. We have roles. We have a long guy. We have a left on left. We have a 7th inning, 8th inning, 9th inning. It just a lot of times our starters aren't going 6 innings. We're not getting that quality start that we normally do. We would take 4 innings out of our starter. We have that much confidence. Our bullpen, our pitching staff is kind of built from the back to the front. And it's not a UCLA true model, but at the same time, DeVecchio went down, so he went here. Moss had a back. We do have some traditional starters, but for one reason or another, Barnett's won. He could have won his 13th game today. So, he's had a phenomenal year, but, is he a true Friday guy? I think there would be, certainly some conversation on that. But at the end of the day, they're winning pitchers. And they know how to make pitches. Even the guys that pitch out some problems made some massive pitches today. 3-1 slider, 3-2 slider, 3-1 change, 3-2 change, 3-2 inner half. I mean, if you really look at the game and look at some things, we didn't pitch poorly, but we didn't pitch, I wouldn't call it good, but we pitched well enough.
Hi, Mika McCaffrey, Daily Bruin. I was just wondering if you could give any insight into kind of what the starting pitching might look like later in the week, given that both Moss and May threw today.
Yeah, it's a tournament, so you don't label your rotation in a tournament. You kind of like look at matchups and you look at video and then you determine what happened the day before. And so, we still certainly have Stump available. Stump is ready to go. But, we'll have to see and look at it tonight and make a decision more likely. We got to see who wins tonight's game too. So, it's tournament time. It's you go day by day.
Mark Garland, College Baseball Central. Coach, first and third, Rock comes up, safety squeeze. I think that took a lot of people by surprise. Was that a planned effort there, or was that just like situational time to do it?
No, I said on ESPN, fans, do not harpoon me. Please, please, please. That was on his own. That was not us. I'm like, come on, Rock. What are we doing here? But you know what? It's a baseball play. And he did that in the Big Ten tournament. If you saw that play in the Big Ten tournament, he pushed with the first and third and got a double out of it. He pushed it a little harder, and this clearly wasn't hard enough. But, led to 4 runs, kind of the difference in the game. So, and, how can you blame a guy for playing baseball? And but it was not, let's be clear, it was not called from the bench.
Any more questions for Coach?
Mitch Light from The Athletic. Will you watch the game tonight as a staff, or have you guys scouted both teams? Are you done with that?
We've scouted them, both teams, sent a lot of synergy. But it's nice to get a feel for what they're doing in the ballpark, right? Ballpark plays different. So you got one eye on synergy, and you're writing the report up, and you got one eye on the live game. But, for the most part, it's several hundred pitches per hitter, and you're really digging deep rather than, but you do kind of like to see what's going on, in Omaha.
Hi, Julie Eckler, Mav Radio, Down FM. You have a really young lineup. A lot of people would see that as a disadvantage. How do you see that as an advantage?
Got good young players. I mean, it's a, we just got to keep them. We got to hold on to them. Got to keep on retaining them. I mean, they're very good players. They've come into it. We wore it last year. Clearly did. We did not win many games last year. I didn't think we were going to win as few as we did, but at the end of the day, it's paid off. We played a lot of guys that probably weren't quite ready. And Dean West did not play very much last year. He was hurt. Dean played the last weekend of the year, and I think he got on base 11 times against Stanford. I mean, that guy has one of the best hand-eye coordinations in the country, best zone disciplines in the country. I mean, phenomenal player. He didn't play very much last year because of injury. Vi played a lot. Rock played a lot. Roman played quite a bit. Phoenix played a little bit. Cash played quite a bit. So we're kind of getting the payoff now, clearly. So. And I don't like to say that we're young. I mean, I said this in the press conference a couple of days ago. A lot of these guys have played over 100 Division I games, 115 Division I games. So you can't play the young card too much. I think that's a mistake. Good young players and that are coming into their own. You can talk about that, but. You see a lot of sophomores. I'm sure you guys saw that little thing that went out. We have 37 kind of homegrown players from that we recruited. So right now it's a pretty good formula. Last year it wasn't a great formula. So it evolves, and anything good takes time.
Take one more question.
John Wright, Murray Ledger and Times. I believe I looked at y'all's record. I think y'all are undefeated in the postseason right now. How much confidence does that give y'all coming here to Omaha?
Well, I don't want to talk about it. I don't really want to talk about it. That's what the postseason. That's why there's a lot of teams up here that haven't lost, that are still up here. So it's it's one game in a four team bracket. So where do you want to be? Do you want to be here? Yeah, you want to win the first game, no question about it. But we got a long ways to go. But playing good baseball. I thought the Big Ten tournament really kind of kick-started it. We played well against Northwestern after Friday. We won the league, co-champs with Oregon. Came here, I thought we played really well. We didn't play well against Nebraska. We learned from that, and we haven't lost since. So, we just got to keep going one day at a time.
That'll conclude our press conference. Coach, we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Hammond Communications will post a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Thank you for joining us. See you guys later.